ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be talking about the Bandai Movie Monster Series Mechagodzilla 2 2001 version. This figure was first released in 1997 for the Godzilla Island Monster Series. It would then see a no changes reissue the very next year in 1998 for the Toho Kaiju series, which was the green tagline. It was then reissued in 2001 as part of the flagship release lineup for the Bandai Movie Monster Series, which started out by reissuing the entirety of the previous line with new tags, more paint, or different paint, and some even in bigger sizes, but that's more so in reference for the GMK figures. Mechagodzilla 2 over here is sporting yet another new tag and more shading than his previous incarnations. And obviously this figure comes to us from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 from 1993, and I still find that a horribly boring movie that not even Miki Sagusa's adorable ears could even save. Yeah, every time I toss that movie on, I fall asleep. And up until getting this figure, I genuinely found this design to be the worst Mechagodzilla design of all time. The worst, boring, just flat, and not all that inspiring. But you know, since attaining the thing and adding him into my collection, I can honestly say that it's grown on me. It took me getting a Bandai Japan vinyl figure of him to really see the error of my ways, but the movie still sucks. Entirely. Fire Rodan's kind of cool, but yeah, let's take a look at the figure now. But of course, first we must take a look at the tag, and that is beautiful. Mind you, I bought this guy secondhand, and normally when getting a figure secondhand, especially one of considerable age, finding a tag in this good of condition is very hard to do. Starting the figure on the side, we can see a picture of Heisei Godzilla with the 2001 shiny Godzilla sticker on there that's actually there and not printed on. And opening up the tag, we get stats and maybe a bunch of stuff, including another picture of Mechagodzilla, a little bit of a scanny here, ST, That's pretty much it. And since this is of an older design, we are going to double sleeve him. Vacuum sealed super turd. Now, despite my rather harsh words towards the movie and the design overall, I have to remind you that after getting this figure, I really did warm up to the design. And I genuinely think it's because of the paint. The paint and the shading on this thing just make him seem a whole lot more than he actually is. I still do hate his weird tail though. But I kinda now have a hard time hating the figure overall. Even if his feet are a little bit on the warped side, which is apparently something this figure suffered from no matter what. As you can see, this foot over here will not rest flatly, and yeah, he's got some balance issues. Although, based on experience here, if you just turn the arms up this way a bit and you balance him out, he'll be just fine. And no, it's not just because of the weight that I added on because of the tag. He was like that before the top loader. Now here's where it gets truly magical, because I love the metallic yellow paint for the eyes. It's basic, but it helps. But the detail. The detail, the detail, the detail, the detail. My word, I was not even aware such things existed on this thing. Like, Bandai? That's awesome. That's truly awesome. And moving down the back over here, we can see more of those dorsal fins, those very, underwhelming looking dorsal lumps. I don't think we can even call those fins. And they do continue on to the very stumpy and weird tail. I don't know. As much as I have warmed up to this design now, his design really is just kinda, I don't know, like, it almost feels devoid of creative ideas. I don't know. That's just me. Moving on. Got some beautiful detail on the inside of the hand and even on the fingers over here, if you can see that. Wow, look at that. Got some detail in between the elbow and the bicep over here so the guy can actually move. Now looking at the top of his hand, we can still see some more detail, though it is a little bit more basic, and I'm only realizing now that this guy's got some tiny heckin' hands. It's kind of funny. But moving further down the arm, we've got that thingy, we've got the elbow pad over here, we've got another one of these thingies on the bicep over here. And honestly, the minimal design, while boring, really does help in terms of figure production because you really don't need to do too much. Which only makes me wonder why the current movie monster series hasn't released a Mechagodzilla 2 figure yet. Sure, it wouldn't have all this splendiferous shading on it, but somehow, I feel like this thing just being straight shiny silver would kind of work for it, you know? Come on, Movie Monster Series. I know your secrets. Release it. Look at that, we've even got some really nice detail on the bottom of the feet and toes. Detail that honestly makes sense, especially for the toes. I enjoy that a lot. Looking in on the inside of the thighs and shins, you're really not going to get too much that you don't see on the opposite ends. They're just going to look a little bit more silver than the others. Same thing for the crotch into the torso region. You're not going to get too much detail variation, but you will get some nice shading. Of course, you will get this nice tubing detail on the side of the figure. I can at least say that. This figure has a very nice looking profile. Ridiculous, yes, but it works for him. It does. And looking at the tail, it has this segmented look to it, which it kind of was in the movie, but come on, Toho, give Godzilla a normal sized tail. Well, technically you did with Kiryu, so hey, good job. Again, dorsal fins kind of looking like dorsal lumps, maybe dorsal rocks. And on the opposing side, we're getting pretty much the same thing. Yeah, this is very much one of those figures where it's mostly face value. What you see is what you get. And you know what? That's really not too much of a bad thing. Well, to me personally, even as somebody that doesn't enjoy this design, it really does just work for him. Got the little vents on the throat here, which I imagine is where the actor would see out of. And I really do just have to praise all of the detail on the head over here. Did I mention the teeth being finely sculpted? They look great. And I know I talked about this before, but come on, that is impressive. That is great. I wish more of this scrolly techno-babble look was kind of etched into the rest of the figure. The overall smooth and panel-liney look is cool, yes, don't get me wrong, but seeing a little bit more of that across the figure, maybe not entirely, just in specific points, I feel definitely would have helped the figure and the design overall just look a little bit more on the impressive side. Going over a few other tiny details that I may have forgotten the first time, we have some very basic detailing on the top of the feet. We've got these little bolts on the ankles. I do enjoy the very bulby looking kneecaps. And we got these weird thruster thingies on the thunder thighs. And I really don't know what else to talk about in terms of detail. Again, he's very sleek and smooth, there he is. So I really can't artificially lengthen this video by going gung-ho over the details. Though the little thrusters on his back look nice. Very tubular and angular, very H.R. Giger-esque. If you know what that means, you know what it means. If you don't, wait a couple years. And I think that's about going to do it for paint and detail on Mechagodzilla 2 over here. The detail is extremely movie accurate, he looks fantastic, and the paint, while extremely minimal and mostly shading, works. The figure looks fantastic. So paint's gonna get a solid star and detail's going to get a solid star. I mean, again, just look at this thing. Is it that hard to believe? No. Articulation-wise, he may spin at the head like so. His arms can go all the way around as well. Oh yes, plural. Both arms, yes. Nothing at the waist. Nothing at the legs, which seems to be a bit of a vinyl Mechagodzilla trait. Weird. Nothing at the feet, but we will get some swivel action at the tail over here. Short, sweet, to the point, arms, head, tail, perfectly fine by me, solid star in terms of articulation. Again, upon finally getting this figure, it really did turn me into a fan of the design. Granted, I still do find the design to be the weakest of the Mechagodzilla family. I'm just starting to develop a bit of a soft spot for this guy. He does look cool, and I would love a Movie Monster series reissue of him, because their lack thereof paint, I think would look pretty cool for this guy. Mark my words, if I about it in the video when it eventually does happen, call me out on it. Well, that was really short for a Bandai vinyl figure. Am I feeling okay? Patrons, thank you so much for becoming ShinRobjira patrons. I really do appreciate it. Everybody else, you should totally check out my social media pages because, yeah, that helps the channel too. And you should also check out my merchandisical page as well on Redbubble, which I will be moving from soon. Maybe next year. We'll see. And that is all I wrote for Mechagodzilla 2 or Mechagodzilla 1993. I will see you all within the next video, whatever that'll be, whenever that'll be. Have a lovely day, afternoon, and night, and... this movie is terrible. But I like him. He's growing on me. Yeah, I said that already. I don't know.